Just sleazy.
Julia Sleazer. Yeah, just say that.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Mayday Mayhem, an absolutely lovely Loveland, Colorado. We're moving up here, and we're about to see Lane County Concussion Men's Roller Derby facing off with Chinook City Roller Derby, the Glenmore Reservoir Dogs. I'm going to quickly go through and let you know who the players are in the green from Lane County. That's 105, Packin' Man. Number 2, Tim Buck U. Number 20, Dave 2.0, 29, X. 42, Grimes and Punishment. 69, Dr. B. 70, Murby. 81, Guns of Ruxton, D12 Multiclass. E5, Sergeant Pepper, and L7, YB Normal. This is Ms. Rabbit, and I have Julia Sleazer on the mic with me here as play has already begun.
Fluster Cluck was able to slide back on the outside.
We have...
Looks like
Fluster Cluck. Yes, Fluster Cluck is the lead jammer, and that's for the Reservoir Dogs. He pulled ahead first. He's picked up 5 points, and right behind him, you've got Sergeant Pepper jamming for Lane County Concussions, putting the pressure on him and forcing a call. Fluster
Cluck. Yeah. Yes, like they did it on purpose.
Yes, they did.
Really quick, while we have the 30 seconds, let me go ahead and introduce the Glenmore Reservoir Dogs. We got a full complement of players today. It's number 1, Gold Member, number 2A, Dev Null, 2222, Hugh Manchu, 3, Iron Manson, 30, Graffiti Petey, 338, Fluster Cluck, which I will say very slowly every time. 39, Repka, 403, Rice Ball, 556, G.I. Jones, 6 is Quiet Riot, 84, Justice Bastacrash, 95, Johnny Foster, and F22, Brad Ass, which hopefully I can say and not be in trouble for it is his name.
And here we go with the second jam and play. Grimes and Punishment is your lead jammer in the black for the Glenmore Reservoir Dogs. Rice Ball, I'm sorry, I got that backwards. Grimes and Punishment is for Lane County, and Rice Ball got the lead. That's number 403 for the Reservoir Dogs. Coming up on the outside, sneaks his way past. Let's see if he picked up all 4. Yes, he did, and they held Lane County to a no score. Fast start here in the men's roller derby as we continue with this tournament. In the Mayday Mayhem tournament, we're getting to the point where we're starting to fill in the brackets. We're getting through that first pool play where we have 4 pools for the women, 2 pools for the men. They're going to play off against each other, and the top 2 from each pool are going on to that championship bracket. We've got Badass as your lead jammer pulling out ahead. Sergeant Pepper pushing his way through the pack. He's facing a 2-wall, quickly moving up. Now we have 1 person in front of there trying to keep him in play. That's Johnny Foster pushing him back out of bounds. Johnny Foster taking him out and recycling back to the back of the pack as Badass pulls on through, gets past that 2-wall in the front, picks up his 4 points, going back for more. We still have Sergeant Pepper trapped behind that wall of black as he's recycled back in. Badass took a bit of a fall. Bradass took a bit of a fall on that, and then he's got back up rather quickly, picked up 5 on that last run, and again, just putting the damage down and racking up those points one after the other. We got a 2-wall in the front. He breaks through again. Bradass picks up another 5 points. And we're going to continue to watch Sergeant Pepper struggling through that pack. Again, a strong wall against him. Cannot get out, has not completed his initial pass. And Bradass once more puts another 5 points on the board. He just keeps going around. It's almost as if he's in a power jam because he's just, Sergeant Pepper just can't get through.
Well, we've taken, it's a minute and a half already, and he's completed his initial pass. The Dogs are really keeping their defensive wall up and are being extremely effective. It looks like we're going to have a star pass by Lane County, or he's trying to star pass. I'm not sure if he made it. Did it happen?
I think he
attempted it.
And I'm really not sure.
He's got his panty in his hand.
It's in his hand. He got a little bit too far away there. Couldn't reach the pivot.
And now the pivot is being held up front.
And Bradass gets through for another 5, and he finally calls it with just a few seconds left on that jam clock. 35 points
Wow.
he put on the board in that last jam.
That's extremely well done on the Reservoir Dogs' part.
That's 35 unanswered points. Like I said, it almost looked like a power jam
Certainly.
just because Sergeant Pepper trapped.
Well, both of these teams have already competed against you into madness. Lane County lost 114 to 287, and then the Dogs won 145 to 229 in their favor.
Back in the action again. Fluster Cluck pulled through.
Yep. It's a dangerous name.
Yeah.
It's a dangerous name.
Your lead jammer.
Got a little bit of a spread out pack. Lane County's got their wall at their front trying to hold the Black Jammer back.
Multi-class recycled back to the back of the pack. He was pushed out of bounds, but he finally makes through his initial pass as Fluster Cluck approaches the back of that pack for another run. He's kind of caught up a bit there, and bright green jerseys knocking him down. And he picked up 3 points, called it, and held multi-class to a no score on that run.
Once again, for those of you viewing, we've got Lane County in the green and the Reservoir Dogs in black. You see a nice wall of Lane County set up in front of a wall of Reservoir Dogs as we get on to this next jam. Currently, the score is 0 to 52 in favor of the Reservoir Dogs.
And you can't miss Grimes and Punishment towering a bit above the back there.
Yeah, definitely.
As he's starting out jamming. Oh, Rice ball pushed out of bounds. He is the lead jammer, but recycled back to the back of that pack. Grimes and Punishment.
He doesn't call it. Yeah, there you go. I was going to say, if he doesn't call it, the non-lead jammer is already in his scoring pass and hadn't been recycled and would have been able to score points. He called it in time for Lane County to pick up 0 points.
That's a no score on both sides for that one.
Mm-hmm.
We're going back to that lineup one more time. We have a few seconds here. Have you been enjoying this tournament so far?
I've been loving this tournament. This has been wonderful. I've seen great women's derby, great men's derby. I heard is there junior derby here?
There will be junior derby tomorrow. That'll be on Sunday.
I'm so excited about this. All of the derby. This has been a great weekend for me so far.
All the derbies, all the time. And
so we got Bradass in lead and calling it off very quickly.
Actually, Multiclass got the lead on that one, and Bradass.
Really?
Multiclass got lead, got recycled back to the pack. Bradass got ahead first, and that's why he went ahead and called it.
Okay, that makes sense.
He was blocked back behind a wall.
Gotcha.
And once more, we've got Grimes and Punishment wearing that star for Lane County, and Fluster Cluck once more. I love these men. You've got to love that name.
I need to quit giggling every time you say it.
Grimes and Punishment pulling ahead, and
nope, it looks like Fluster Cluck was lead on that one.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, you're right. He's sorry. Continue.
No, it's just fine. It looks like there was just not a legal pass for all of that.
Right, yeah.
So that's why he didn't get lead.
And the rice ball jamming for the Reservoir Dogs.
If you see that big donate button in the bottom right corner of your screen watching us on ColoradoSports.TV, do not hesitate. Please go directly to the button, push the button, donate, because that's what's going to keep roller derby on the broadcast here at ColoradoSports.TV.
The stream is free, and to keep the archive free forever, we rely on your donations. So do keep that in mind. You can make awesomeness free for generations to come.
There we go. Lane County pulling ahead first with Multiclass as your lead jammer. Rice ball popping out of that pack. But he's on his initial run, and I'm just wondering how long the Multiclass is going to let this go on before he's just
I'm curious myself.
There he goes.
There we go. I was going to say, Rice Ball's got just over half a lap to get to the pack anyway. I guess he could have taken his time.
Yep. Now, I'm not sure if you can see this on this camera or not, but Those are Ninja Turtle pants.
Oh, they are. Actually, there's a referee from my league that has the same pants. Sorrel McCoy wears those sometimes.
Gotta love Ninja Turtles. We got Grimes and Punishment once more on that line, towering above the pack for Lane County in the green. Brad S. once more jamming for the Reservoir Dogs, and Grimes and Punishment pops through on the inside, picks up lead quickly. Brad S. got a little help from his group to try and pull him through and get past that wall of green.
Lane County kind of hangs back, and so the Lane County Jammer has to run right through some dogs, but he did quite well in doing a little apex jump there at the end for Bradass.
And that helped him pick up 3 points on that, so we had 4 points for Grimes and Punishment.
That's their first 4 points. Do you happen to know which jam we're on?
We are... yeah, now you have to ask me that, don't you? We're on jam number 10 right now.
So 4 points finally picked up in jam 9.
Yes, indeed.
That's taken quite some time for Lane County. Looks like we currently have a timeout for Lane County.
Timeout Lane County, and currently Glenmore Reservoir Dogs 55 points, Lane County 4. So they're behind by 51. We have had no power jams at this point. Teams are looking pretty good.
We've got one Lane County player in the box.
And as we're looking to continue in this tournament, you'll see a bracket if you go to Mayday Mayhem on Facebook. You have to kind of blow it up pretty big.
You can zoom, if you have it down as the PDF, you can click the little magnifying glass button. You can zoom in there. If you print it off, it prints off fairly small, so do keep that in mind. But you can get the bracket, and you can see all the pools and fill it in yourself, so you know which bouts you're going to want to see this weekend. You should probably watch all of them, but I'm not going to pressure you.
Well, and with both tracks, track
Right.
1 and track 2, being on ColoradoSports.TV, you could actually watch them both at the same time.
Multitask.
We, however, are in this one right now on track 1. In green, Lane County Concussion, men's roller derby from Eugene, Oregon. And in the black, Glenmore Reservoir Dogs from Calgary in Alberta, Canada. And we have Fluster Cluck ahead as your lead jammer, but coming up quickly behind him, Multiclass. Not going to give him much of a chance as he puts the pressure on. The big question, is he going to try and score before he calls it?
You can score through that 4th whistle, so you might just go ahead and give it a try. Oh, he's going to keep it. Oof, he's relying on his blockers to try to keep them back.
And it looks like he's going to rely for another run as Fluster Cluck put those points on the board.
Multi-class, 2 more blockers to beat.
Multiclass fighting against the wall. This kind of cascaded into a bridge. Knocked to his knees as Fluster Cluck once more goes through that pack.
The Lane County defense got a little bit too spread out there and got the out of play call and had to let the jammer go.
Multi-class pushed out of bounds on the outside there around turn 4.
And now blocked by an outside pack ref.
Yes, indeed.
Who I appreciate and love, but wish I could see through.
Fluster Cluck once more looking at a two wall. Pushed to the inside and recycled back to the pack as
It's a pretty...
a hard drop there for Multiclass. He's having a really hard time getting past. And at this point, there is just one person holding him back, even getting a little help from his friends there. Fluster Cluck once more approaching the back of that pack. He's got a 2-wall holding him in play. Sneaks to the inside and continues on the inside of that pack to pick up another 5 points before he calls it. Whew. That was a lot of work.
That was a lot of work.
19 points on the board for Fluster Cluck.
Wow. So currently the score is 4-71 for the Reservoir Dogs.
It's looking like we're going to have quite a run for the money for Lane County if they're going to try and catch up. What I'm seeing is some serious walls there, though.
Definitely.
Grimes and Punishment once more wearing the star for Lane County. Rice Ball trying to get through, and Grimes and Punishment pulls ahead first. He literally pushed his way through where Rice Ball found an opening on the inside track to begin his scoring pass as well. Both jammers hauling it to the pack. And it looks like Grimes and Punishment is going to see how much he can get through. He gets knocked to the inside. No score, both sides. It's all you.
Is it?
Yeah.
Sorry, I was looking at these words. Give you a little back information on the Glenmore Reservoir Dogs. They are the team that won the first MRDA bout in Western Canada, and they were up against the Dreadnoughts, who are also here at this tournament.
Lane County's going to try something a little bit new here.
Currently, we've got a nice Lane County wall right in front of the Dogs wall on the pivot line. Or, sorry, on the jammer line. Oh, how I long for the pivot line starts.
We have Tim Buck Yu wearing the star.
Nice.
And Tim Buck Yu pulls ahead, your lead jammer. He's facing off with Brad Ass, who is not going to give him. Oh, down he goes. Brad Ass comes over. A hip check on Tim Buck Yu, taking him down outside. In turn one, it says, "How do you do?" Kabam!
He was just
floor.
He looked a little bit off to the side and just swoop.
Yep.
Oh wow, that was an amazing block.
Jammer on jammer action. You've got to love that.
I do.
Current score 71-8 with Lane County down by 63 points. Of course, Lane County in the green jerseys, Glenmore Reservoir Dogs in the black. Ooh, a nice inside skip and jump along that line, putting Grimes and Punishment as lead jammer. Once again, Lane County, that's twice in a row they've picked up lead. But coming up behind him, Fluster, Cluck not giving him a moment's rest as he's going to put that pressure on. Grimes and Punishment's going to try to push it through, but he gets pushed to the inside.
I think he might not have made all of his passes. They pick up?
He picked up 3 points on that one.
The Dogs picking up 3 points, it looks like, actually.
Yeah, that was the Dogs picking up 3 points. Well, I think he was actually inside the track when he passed. And the fact that he started calling it before he rolled back in is the only thing that kept him from a track cut
on the
right
inside
there.
of the track.
He was on the
yes,
inside of
I
the track.
got
He
you.
was out of bounds when he passed.
Right. Yeah.
Started calling it before he ended up with a track cut.
That was certainly a 0-point jam for Lane County concussion.
Rice Ball pulls ahead, your lead jammer now, and that's the Reservoir Dogs in control of this one. Multi-class made his initial pass. Both jammers now in scoring runs. Multi-class almost looked like he was about to fall there a bit in turn two. Going a bit slower than you would think. Rice Ball gets his 4 points and calls it.
4 points on that pass and calls off the jam.
Now we have the MRDA rankings for these leagues, do we not?
Yes, indeed we do. The Reservoir Dogs are ranked at 15 and Lane County at 35.
So we're seeing a little bit of a difference, and that may explain some of the score difference. Currently, Lane County is still at 8, Reservoir Dogs at 78. We're getting ready for this next jam. Got 2 nice walls already set up. So who gets through first?
Oh,
it's Brad Ass. Just taking the outside, taking the opportunity to get right, just walked right past both walls, essentially.
Yeah, but Grimes and Punishment got through rather quickly as well. He just wasn't as fast. There was a wide open spot on that outer track, something you don't see very often right at the jam line. Looks like Brad Ass is preferring the outer again. He pulls it off and 3 points, but he stops it before Grimes and Punishment can get any score in. We're moving quickly along. We have still had no power jams.
It's true.
Still, most of the penalty box action has just, all of it's just been blockers.
Mm-hmm. And it hasn't been very penalty heavy.
No, they're running a very clean game, and that's not to say that all of the teams don't play clean, but we're not seeing a lot of penalties at this point. We have Flustercluck once more wearing that star and pulling ahead on the inside, very quickly getting out of that pack. Multi-class also getting through. He had a little help there. And both jammers into their scoring runs. Pack is forming. We got a 3 wall in the front It looks like a wall of green trying to form up there, and they're holding back just a bit on one of the Reservoir Dogs. Oh, Clusterfuck trying to call that off as he gets knocked down, but he gets a low block and has that penalty box. And of course, we were just saying,
right?
That's what happens. The curse of the announcer.
Yeah. Well, it looks like though the Dogs are effectively holding back with a 2-man brace. Multiclass finally gets through with a 4-point pass on that one.
And he is in a power jam.
Yep.
You know, so
this is going to be a full 2-minute jam. We've got about a minute left of it, so he could really score some points here if he gets in there.
He can make a difference. He's put 5 more points on the board. That's going to add 9, and that's about half what they already have.
Yeah.
So he's doing a good job of moving along here as he continues in this power jam. His team, instead of going the passive, is jumping up and trying to help bust up that 3-wall. And of course, Clusterfuck back into the game. You see the pack speeding up as he's pulled out of that penalty box and is doing his best to start putting points on the board to kind of cancel out what they got before. 4 more points by Clusterfuck so far on this run. Multiclass knocked out of bounds, recycled back to the back of the pack, having a hard time dealing with that. He looks like he's getting a little winded here. As
he's going a little.
Clusterfuck makes it through one more time, put 5 more points on the board. Then we hit the 2-minute clock, down to 0 on that. 9. It looks like
it was a
44.
Go on.
9 points picked up by Clusterfuck on that one, and 14 points that Multiclass put on for Lane County.
Yep.
We have a timeout now with Glenmore Reservoir Dogs calling the timeout.
Gives me the opportunity to tell you about one of our sponsors in his Sticker Giant. It's the custom sticker experts, the official sticker company of ColoradoSports.TV. Check them out at stickergiant.com, and you can use the code Roller Derby in all caps with a space between the 2 words, just like normal, Roller Derby, at checkout, and you can get 10% off of your order. Just go ahead and check them out at stickergiant.com.
You know, one of the things I like most about coming to big tournaments like this one is, now this has got 3 countries represented.
Right.
And look at all the new people we get to meet. Like you, for instance. I had never met you before. And this is a lot of fun. This is Ms. Rabbit, of course, on the microphone with Julia Sleazer. And we are just having a blast here at Mayday Mayhem.
Yeah. Ironically, we live closer to each other than either of us do to this tournament. You're from Chattanooga, right?
Yes, indeed. Chattanooga, Tennessee.
And I'm from Columbia, Missouri. It's still probably a 10-hour difference, I'd say, to drive to each other. But still, it's nice.
Yes. It's nice to meet someone that was halfway to where I'm coming from right now.
Look, they found the pivot line.
People on the pivot line. And looking.
I feel like we're in 2010 again.
Yes, indeed. Except we didn't hear that second whistle again.
Oh, yeah, it's true.
Rice Ball pull ahead very quickly and easily on that inside track to pick up lead jammer status for the Reservoir Dogs. Of course, he started off in that power jam because Multiclass is in that penalty box.
It's Lane County getting its wall dispersed as Clusterfuck just Rice Ball. Sorry, I just wanted to say Clusterfuck. Rice Ball just blast through them. Try to do it again.
Yes. He tried to rush right through him again this time and didn't make it quite as well. He kind of bounced off this time, but he spun right around there, get past YB Normal at the front of that pack, and going back, picked up 5 more. Multiclass, of course, in and out, and another track cut on Multiclass, sending him to the sin bin, putting Rice Ball back in a power jam. He is, of course, lead jammer, picked up another 5 points, going back for more.
He's got about 1 minute left on the clock, and he's in control of whether or not it's called, so he certainly could take this opportunity to accrue a significant number of points.
And the wall that's being built by Lane County in the front is just seems to be just shredding right before him. But we had the Dogs pull forward and bust that up for him.
That was a pretty effective wall that time. They had to get the other blockers to become aggressive to help their jammer through.
Whoa.
That's Sergeant Pepper knocking down Rice Ball, making him go all the way to the back. I mean, a little bit of a soul crush.
Yes, indeed. And we have a panty pass. The star pass has been given to Sergeant Pepper. Bradass says, I'm not having any of that. And it has ended, of course, one more point on the board before he ends it. And that looks like it was a 26-point jam.
I would call that effective. So the spread right now, Lane County 22, Dogs 116. It's getting quite a bit further apart.
It is. They're 94 points behind.
Look at you doing math.
You know, I got 10 fingers to do this with, and the help of my statistically silent partner, Jack, my husband, who does the stats for me. So, shh, don't tell anyone. Grimes and Punishment recycled again 2 times to the inside track, kind of holding him to the back, and that's going to let Fluster Cluck get ahead as your lead jammer. Fluster Cluck approaching the back of that pack as they're building a wall, trying to come up with a 4 wall, and he's just like knocking them down one at a time. Even his own people just knock him down, get him out of the way so he can get their 4 points and call it.
We have just about 7 minutes left in this half. It's going to take Lane County really building their defense and effectively using their jammer, maybe a couple of power jams to get them back closed up in this spread. So we got Lane County on the jammer line right now. We've got only 2 dog blockers out there right now, so they're going to have to try to make a brace and effectively keep the jammer back, which is what Graffiti Petey's trying to do right now.
Bradass sliding through, and it's like he was going in for home base on that one. He picks up lead jammer. Packin' Man recycle back to the back of the pack. Devnull doing a great job of holding him back. Devnull following him all the way to the front and then trying to just stop him, but he finally gets through. Packin' Man starts his initial scoring run as Bradass knocked to the inside. Couldn't make it completely through the pack. He calls it. We're talking a 0 score for Lane County and 3 points on the board for the Reservoir Dogs. As we continue here at Mayday Mayhem in lovely Loveland, Colorado. This is the second day of Mayday Mayhem. We're still working through the pools, and we're going to be joining that actual bracket leading toward the championship later on this afternoon. In the green for Lane County, jamming is Grimes and Punishment. And in the black jerseys for Glenmore Reservoir Dogs, we have Rice Ball once more on the line, and Grimes and Punishment. One of the times that Lane County gets through first is your lead jammer. Rice Ball full as well, going to be putting the pressure on him. In the past, Grimes and Punishment has gone ahead and tried to get his points, even with that pressure on him.
Yeah. Well, he's got about a quarter track distance behind him. As long as he can slide through that pack quickly and get some points. Whoop. Sorry. Just my mic. Hello.
There we go. You're back. Here we got 3 points up for Lane County on that one, and a no score for the Reservoir Dogs.
So we're going to start off with a 3-on-4 pack. We've got 1 Reservoir Dog in the box.
Multi-class wearing that star for Lane County in the green, and the Glenmore Reservoir Dogs wearing black have put Fluster Cluck back out there.
Of course they have.
They love us, that's why. It has nothing to do with the fact that he's been an amazing jammer so far and has put 48 points on the board so far.
It's got lead jammer once again. I believe he's Reservoir Dog's most effective jammer this bout, indeed. So.
He's picked up lead 75% of the time, 6 out of 8 jams. He has, put on the star and taken over quite a bit.
Got multi-class, but almost equidistant halfway around the track from him as he calls it off.
He picked up his 4 points, and he held them to 0, 4 more for the Dogs, and another no score for Lane County. 102 points behind for Lane County. They have quite a lot of catching up to do. And we've got a random click attacking us up here.
It's not me. It's not me.
I know, but
I've
you
got
went right
this.
into amazing defense mode. It was lovely to see Julius Lever ready to take on whatever was making
Got my karate
us
chops.
win. Indeed, indeed.
We got Bradass has got lead for the Reservoir Dogs, even though Lane County's Jammer is up in front.
Grimes
He's going to
and
try to race
punishment.
him. He's going to race him out, try to block him out. He's got control of the jam, so if he...
Oh! Bradass doing his best to take him out, and both of them going down. Bradass has pushed him into the center, and the entire pack has caught up with him. Bradass is still lead, but now we have Grimes and punishment. Recycle back into the back, just eating the baby.
I was going to say, did we not just see a baby getting eaten?
Yes, we did, eating the baby. That's the first time I've seen that so far during this tournament with my own little peepers. It was effective to holding him back, so now he is making his initial scoring run. He had made it through before, but that's going to hold him back. Bradass calling it off after he picked up his 4 points at the front. Not a very high scoring, but a definitely fun jam to watch.
It was exciting.
You had eating the baby. You had jammer on jammer action. You
Just
had
that
guys
block
on
where
the floor.
both jammers go out. That was amazing. So they can have 4 points. I love that jam.
Good derby is not necessarily all about the points.
Right.
It's about the play, and that's what we just saw. Some amazing play. Multi-class trying to make it through, and he gets knocked back, all the way recycled back. Rice Ball is your lead jammer with the Reservoir Dogs. And it looks like we had Multi-class finding an inside, doing his best to get through. Rice Ball recycled to the inside. Oh, and a track cut with Multi-class. He was too close to the inside track on that one. And it looks like we've got a back block called on Rice Ball, so it's going to be popping jammers in the sin bin. Multi-class released and back on that track. Of course, Rice Ball going to pop right back up again. He only had to serve as much as Multi-class did. So pack reformed.
It means we're going to take the whole minute 10 left in this jam, too.
Yes, indeed. It's just going to be ring around the track as they keep going. Rice Ball just putting 4 points on the board. Multi-class looking at a 3 wall of dogs just saying, no, no, no. And Rice Ball juking through that pack. That wall had holes big enough for that man to just slide on through and not be touched. That's another 5 points on the board for the dogs.
It's hard to keep pack awareness and form a good wall when you can't keep track of the guy juking around behind you.
Rice Ball forced back to the back again. He's joining Multi-class for a bit. Multi-class just cannot get past the dog's wall. Rice Ball picks up another 5 points for the Reservoir Dogs, and that's, of course, from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. The black jerseys, that's from Chinook City Roller Derby, the men's league, Glenmore. Reservoir Dogs, another 5 points as Rice Ball kind of rides out the last of this jam clock, and a pile up on the floor.
Just at the end of the jam.
Multi-class was struggling so hard to get past the back of that pack.
Well, it looks like that was the half.
Yes, it is. That half flew by too
Sure
quickly.
enough. Well, it looks like we're in that half, 25 to 144 in favor of the Glenmore Reservoir Dogs.
Whew, we had some fast-paced action in the first half of that game. Some jammer-on-jammer action, a lot of people hitting the floor right and left, and some serious walls built up by the Reservoir Dogs that Lane County just couldn't get past.
Well, perhaps Lane County will take this 15-minute break to adjust their strategy, build up their walls, and get a plan together to try to make a comeback in the second half, because 30 minutes can always make a huge difference.
We had 65% of the time that the Reservoir Dogs picked up lead jammer status, and that plays a big part of what's going on. So far, top scorers in the first half, Fluster Cluck with 52 points on the board. They have a 3-jammer rotation. We've got 52 for him. Bradass 45 points. Riceball 34 points. They're just knocking it dead. High score for the jammer from Lane County is Multiclass with 18 points. And I think we're ready to just take a bit of a break here, aren't we?
Sure enough.
We'll be back in just about 10 minutes.
Question mark. I gotta adjust my mic again. I always forget. It's always really far away from my face for no reason. Sorry.
It's pointing right at your eye. That was kind of a fun one there. We have Lane County Concussion Men's Roller Derby from Eugene, Oregon in the green jerseys, and from Calgary, Alberta, Canada in the black, the Glenmore Reservoir Dogs current score 151 for the Dogs. Lane County at 25, and here we go. Again, Fluster Cluck pulls ahead. Did not pick up lead. He did not legally pass all of those players. So that's going to give Grimes and Punishment from Lane County a chance to pull ahead. Or it was going to.
He's going to go ahead and get recycled back. Well, lead is still open. So he still has the opportunity to do it, but while he's trying to make his initial pass, Fluster Cluck is going ahead and scoring points, and now Lane County's got lead, and he's calling it off, so he can't gain any more points. Picked up 5 right there, I believe. Yep, 5 points for the Dogs, but Grimes and Punishment stopped the bleeding as quickly as he could as soon as he got that lead jammer status. We call that strategery.
Yes, indeed. We have a lot of people to thank. Let's thank some of our crew here. Take a moment, and the people in the pale blue shirts, I think we've got instead of pink this time, our non-skating officials are in blue.
Indeed, for the MRDA bouts, the non-skating officials will wear light blue. For the WFTDA, you may notice they're in pink.
Sergeant Pepper picked up lead jammer for Lane County, and that's very nice to see them get lead first. But Riceball putting on the pressure from the Dogs. We're going to see if Sergeant Pepper is willing to take to that pack. Lane County
calling it off right as Riceball is on his heels, literally.
Well, Lane County had an advantage with blockers there. They had 4 blockers to the 2 blockers of the Dogs.
May not have wanted even to chance it.
Those were 2 scary blockers.
Well, even with, earlier we had just two Dogs blockers out there, and they still effectively kept Lane County in check.
Yeah, Graffiti Petey and Johnny Foster are the 2 blockers, and they must be scary enough. They are going to have to hold Grimes and Punishment back all by themselves. And they tried very hard, but he did make it through first, and it looks like Fluster Cluck stayed on the floor. Both of the jammers stayed on the floor. Yeah. No rotation on that one. Both jammers through their initial run, starting their scoring run. And we have the Dogs are back. All 4 the blockers back in play. Track cut on Grimes and Punishment as he tried to push through on the apex. Did not quite make it. We got 4 points on the board for Fluster Cluck as he is now in a power jam, and this will go the full 2 minutes. No longer do we have a lead jammer. Fluster Fluster Cluck made it through again. Whew, that was close. 5 more points for the Dogs as he looks to that wall once again. We've kind of got the wall split with Lane County. One being goaded in the back by the Dogs and the other 2 up front not able to hold it back. 5 more points on the board for the Reservoir Dogs as Fluster Cluck goes around one more time. Grimes and Punishment out of the sin bin. No longer in the bad boy. Seaton able to come in and approach the pack himself, but 5 more points on the board for Fluster Cluck as he goes around trying to get more points. Grimes and Punishment being held back by Bradass for a while, but he does make his way through. Put 4 points on the board for Lane County as Fluster Cluck once more looks at that wall to the back. Looks like he's taking an outside track wide open, obviously. Nothing slowed him down. Another free points. These were 4 more points on the board for the Reservoir Dogs as Grimes and Punishment is being held in check. That was Dev Knoll doing his best to hold him back, pushed him to the inside, recycled him back, and here's Fluster Cluck on the edge, pushed to the outside. We got 3 points for Lane County and 3 points for the Reservoir Dogs from that last run. When it goes the full 2 minutes, I just about run out of air.
Yeah, sure enough.
26 points put on the board by Fluster Cluck in that last run. 7 points for Grimes and Punishment.
I'd actually met one of the guys, the one that just actually fell to his knees on the track. I met him at the Men's World Cup. He was the photographer for Team Canada's G.I. Jones out there. So it was really neat to see him play after hanging around him all weekend while he took photographs.
Packing Man being knocked to the front with a wall. He's held back by Quiet Riot and trying to get around that wall. He finally makes it, but our lead jammer, Rice Ball with the Reservoir Dogs. Packing Man
really like booking it.
Yes, he is. He's doing that kind of crab side skating. I saw him doing that yesterday as well. It's fascinating to watch.
It is. It was crazy to watch at that speed.
We got 1 point for Rice Ball. Packing Man did not score any on that one.
But he looked awesome.
He does. He does. Like I said, I was watching that yesterday, doing that crab kind of skating, and amazing how much speed he picks up when he does that.
Right, yeah. That was really amazing. It looked like he was just sped up or something for a second. I've personally never been able to make my feet go at that angle. So I commend him for being awesome and flexible. Looks like we've got a timeout for the Reservoir Dogs.
It's kind of fun when you see real life suddenly go into fast motion.
Right.
Like that rarely happens. So know if you did see that on ColoradoSports.TV, that was not a video trick. That really happened. And since you enjoyed seeing that so much, you're going to direct your mouse to the lower right-hand corner of that screen and donate some money to ColoradoSports.TV to thank them for bringing you all this great derby here at Mayday Mayhem.
Well, just so you know, if you were here at Mayday Mayhem, you would have spent $30 on a ticket. So while you're sitting there hanging out in your PJs, watching this for free, do keep in mind that you are getting, well, not quite the amount of excitement that we're getting here in person, but you're getting the full experience for $0. So why not just, you can donate as little as $1. We were thinking like something around, Ms. Com was suggesting $5 a day would be awesome. Do keep in mind we'll also have the archive footage up in the next couple of days. So,
and of course, $100 is not out of the question.
Sure.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
Just dig deep, people, because you didn't have to drive here.
Right.
Yeah, or fly in like so many other people
Absolutely.
did. Multi-class on the line there for Lane County. Bradass for Reservoir Dogs, popping through that pack rather quickly. Multi-class doing his best to kind of deal with that. And we saw an interesting little jump there. And I believe that was Quiet Riot leapt over that apex just to be able to block. I love that. Bradass going through, picked up 5 points on the first run. Multi-class just literally digging in and pushing against that wall. I'm always fascinated to watch him do it. However, he's going to end up heading to that penalty box.
I believe that was a forearm call, if I saw it correctly.
Definitely was. Forearm. And Bradass slipping that star to the pivot. We now have a fresh jammer as Quiet Riot becomes the pivot jammer. Picked up 5 points as he popped through that pack. And I guess it's fresh skates or just a chance to pass the star.
Well, I think Lane County also noticed just a little bit too late because they had their 3-man brace ready to go, and Quiet Riot was able to slip by on the outside, and they moved just a little too late, just a little bit too late, so it may have been the element of surprise.
That's another 5 points for Quiet Riot as Multiclass is looking at Brad S. on the back, holding him up, along with Repka, looking at a couple of guys, just making sure that Multiclass is taken down to his knees out of bounds, while Quiet Riot just quietly goes on through and picks up 5 more points. Multiclass taking his time to start digging in and tanking it through the wall. Whether or not he's going to make it, we will find out, but we've got a very dense pack now. I see Lane County starting to come up with some thicker walls, holding them back. But we went the full 2 minutes, of course. 5 more points on the board for the Dogs. And Quiet Riot put a 20-point. Now, part of that was also kind of split it. But that's 20 points for Quiet Riot and 10 points before.
I think it was Bradass.
Yeah,
right?
for Bradass.
Yeah, so it was a 30-point jam.
Yes, indeed.
Amazing. Get the Lane County blockers lined up just in front of the Dogs blockers. 5 seconds, here we go.
Grimes and Punishment wearing that star for Lane County. Fluster Cluck once more jamming for the Dogs. And he's pushing back a bit. Looks like Fluster Cluck moved back to pick up some speed to hit that wall hard. But it didn't do the work for him. Grimes and Punishment gets through first. No, it doesn't look like it.
Track.
He had a track cut. That was on the inside.
He got through first.
Inside.
Yeah, but he had a little bit of a cut track. Had to go to the box for 30 seconds. We've got a power jam for the Reservoir Dogs right now.
And Fluster Cluck making it through to pick up that Grand Slam. 5 points on the board for the Dogs. Lane County currently down by 186 points as this power jam continues with Fluster Cluck hitting very little resistance. Lane County only has 2 blockers. Well, no, there are 3, but they had 2 holding up against him, a 2 wall. And Fluster Cluck puts another 5 points on the board.
Now we've got a 3-on-3 pack, and we'll see how this goes as the Dogs jammer comes up.
Grimes and Punishment back on the floor.
That was just now his initial pass. It took him over a minute.
He gets a high block and sent to the penalty box. 1. There we go. For another power jam for the Reservoir Dogs with Fluster Cluck continuing his run. 5 more points on the board.
That's something when you've got good defense and you're trying to get through as a jammer. Sometimes you just accidentally get penalties, and that just sets you back another 30 seconds.
Not a lot you can do about it. Sometimes you don't, like you said, you don't mean to.
Right.
It's not intentional.
Just getting through, it's extremely hard, and that's the thing with good defense is good for that reason, but it makes it rough on the other team.
5 more points on the board for Fluster Cluck as the clock winds down.
Grimes and Punishment coming back in right at the end of the jam.
There was a no score there for Lane County on that run.
Still Lane County at 32, Glenmore Reservoir Dogs at 233. That was a 20-point jam for the Dogs. Looks like we've got 3 Lane County blockers out there right now up against all 4 of the Dogs blockers.
Sergeant Pepper wearing that star for Lane County. Rice Ball once more jamming. And Sergeant Pepper pulls up on the inside, runs as fast as he can. He gets lead, but Rice Ball pops ahead of him. I don't even know where he came from. He was just kind of emerged from the wall of black that were the blockers of the Reservoir Dogs. Rice Ball has gotten ahead of Sergeant Pepper. He's going to let him build himself up and stop it just before he gets into scoring position.
Tease.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's what men do.
I will not comment.
As we continue here at Mayday Mayhem with The Glenmore Reservoir Dogs in the black. They're ranked 15 with MRDA. And the green jerseys, that's Lane County Concussion. They are ranked 35. That may have something to do with the disparity in the game at this point, but we are seeing 233 points for the Reservoir Dogs, 32 points for Lane County.
And as of today, the Reservoir Dogs are ranked 15th.
Grimes and Punishment stuck in the back of that pack as Brad S. picks up lead jammer
Looks
again.
like Murby Dick took a pretty serious fall backwards, and I believe the jam's been called for that, so we're going to go ahead and
Yes, and we've got a little bit of time.
pause.
Well, they're going to pause. We get to continue talking.
I always get so nervous when people get hurt, so I
do
have to.
too.
My heart is paused, in fact. So,
Well, there's an amazing team here of the medical personnel, and I've watched them. I was up close on the side when they were helping out some of the ladies earlier, and they're just doing a great job. There's Murphy Dick up on his own,
good.
and making his way back to the bench. Of course, once called for a down skater like that.
Yeah, he fell back, and he fell pretty hard. So,
Well, he'll get to sit out for about 3 jams.
indeed, 3 jams it will be. But it's better than sitting out forever. So
There you go.
Yay.
There you go. It looks like he's not injured, just maybe a bit winded and possibly just a little bit surprised
Yeah.
getting up on his back like
Right.
that. Grimes and Punishment. Oh, we have an official timeout still. While Grimes and Punishment is... oh, that's the end of that. Well, it's from the last jam. We're still looking for any additional scores they're going to give us, and our jam refs didn't put up any additional scores at the end of that
Doesn't
one,
look like it.
guess it's going to stand. We have still, I guess the official timeout is ended, but we still have officials talking to the referees. So we're still going to go back in to official timeout.
Well, in the meantime, you know, you can like Colorado Sports TV on Facebook. And then you can go ahead and keep updated on, they actually broadcast several other sports besides roller derby for free on ColoradoSports.TV, where you're clearly watching this right now. So if you want to go ahead and like them, also make sure, since Facebook settings just get a little bit wonky, go into your settings and make sure you've got it set that you get notifications from Colorado Sports TV if you want to be kept abreast of Colorado sports broadcasts. Also, I don't know if I've mentioned to you Roller Derby Nation. It is the smarter way to do derby. They are bringing roller derby to the masses. They help your league manage themselves so they can skate more, and you can download free software at rdnation.com.
The timeout is ended now, and we're going back to the action. Sergeant Pepper on the line for Lane County. Brad Ass is jamming for the Reservoir Dogs. Brad Ass looking for the inside, but ends up pushed to the inside track. Almost picked up a track cut there, but pulled himself back out. And that gives Sergeant Pepper. He makes it through and becomes your lead jammer. Lane County, the guys in the green. Brad Ass made his way through. Reservoir Dogs in the black jerseys. Both jammers in scoring position. And Sergeant Pepper trying to push his way through. He is skipping back and forth in that Reservoir Dogs wall. He calls it after picking up 2 points, but he did hold Brad Ass to a no score.
Right, you saw the Reservoir Dogs moving up front, trying to avoid from being points, and then he's having to try to catch them, and he clearly making the call, hoping to score some points through that fourth whistle, but how many we'd get ends up 2, clearly, but...
As we're moving along here, we're going into that next jam. We've got Lane County down by 199 points at this point. Grimes and Punishment on the line, facing against Fluster Cluck. Grimes and Punishment does a track cut right at the beginning. I don't even think they got past the jammer line.
I don't think he did.
Grimes
I'm not sure what happened there.
That's putting Fluster Cluck in a power jam with the dogs. And we're seeing some strategy there. Holes in the wall, but they're trying to block him out. Dr. B at the front holding him back, but he gets past and picks up lead jammer status. That's Fluster Cluck with the Reservoir Dogs. All of the blockers are on the floor, but since he's in a power jam, the only jammer on the floor, the only jammer that can score. Not for much longer, though. Grimes and Punishment is back in action, trying to push his way through that dog wall in the back, and he does. Finds an inside. That's going to put him on his initial run.
Was initial scoring pass. He just got out of his initial pass.
Yes, indeed. Fluster Cluck picked up the 5 points and called it. We still haven't seen a whole lot of penalties this time. Of course, they've done away with the whiteboards and making it a little harder for us to
I had been
track
keeping track before, but then I didn't. If I got mixed up, you know, it's an unofficial tally, and I gotta say, I know a bunch of my friends don't love the inside whiteboard, but I do. So,
I do too.
And it's for instances just like this.
Start off the whistle.
Rice Ball pushing through the center of that pack, not letting anything hold him back, picks up lead jammer status. And you have Sergeant Pepper also made it through the pack, both in scoring runs. Rice Ball approaching the back of that pack and coming through on that inside. Zigs, gets his points, picks up the 4, calls it. Sergeant Pepper didn't quite make that score. There's no score there for Lane County.
It's like 4 points picked up by Reservoir Dogs. That puts our score 34 to 242 in favor of the Reservoir Dogs. Got Lane County going to start off right on that jammer line with the Reservoir Dogs in front. They are 1 blocker short because we've got 1 in the box right now.
Grimes and Punishment back on the line. Brad Ass as well for the Dogs is jamming.
We've got Grimes and Punishment out there for
Brad Ass finds a hole in the wall and gets on past and picks up lead jammer. Grimes and Punishment, just a little bit of skip over the apex, not quite the full jump, but that put him ahead of that pack as well to begin his scoring run. Whoa, Brad Ass taken down just really hard by Tim Buck Yu. Knocked him down and forcing him to call it, but not before he put 2 points on the board and a no score for Lane County. That one ended pretty quickly, and you know, I just have to wonder when these guys hit this polished concrete floor, how they pop up so quickly.
Right, yeah, I gotta tell you, I'm super happy not to skate at this venue, because I'm always like, oh, maybe I should bring my skates. I'm good. I know some people had to buy some stickier wheels for the floor, but it is polished concrete, and I imagine the skaters knew that before coming, and sometimes they just overestimate how sticky their wheels are.
Multi-class with lead jammer status with Lane County, and we're looking at Graffiti Petey jamming for the first time for the Reservoir Dogs, and a big pile up there and a outside pack ref between us to see what's going on. It's been called and people shaking hands right and left, so both teams are up on their feet. I saw no score, or 2 points, 2 points for Lane County on that last run.
Looks like we're going to have a 4-on-3 pack. We've got 1 Reservoir Dog in the box. I bet that's Grimes and Punishment out there. I can tell because he's super tall.
Yeah, Grimes and Punishment ahead above the rest as he's pushing through that pack and comes through on the inside to pick up lead jammer status. Rice Ball right behind him, not giving him much of a chance as he puts the pressure on. I wonder if we're going to see more jammer on jammer action, because it seems like the Reservoir Dogs love taking out the other jammer.
Sure enough.
There was an attempt, and sure enough, Grimes and Punishment ends that, and no score for either side, and we're ready to line them up one more time.
Looks like we again have another blocker for the Dogs in the box. No blockers in the box for the Lane County.
I think that's the same blocker. And
no, there was actually one went in this last jam, so they're switching out.
Well, there you go. It's like tag team wrestling. As the one goes in, the other comes out.
Yep. Oh, looks like we're going to have 2 Dogs in the box
like we
this
have
time.
a team timeout with Lane County. Team timeout. Lane County, again, they're in the green jerseys. They're from Eugene, Oregon, ranked 35th in the Men's Roller Derby Association, and they're wearing those green jerseys in the black jerseys.
You know, even though there is this ranking difference, Lane County actually started in 2009 and joined MRDA in 2011, when the Glenmore Reservoir Dogs started in 2010 and joined MRDA in 2013.
They're a younger team, but they're definitely an aggressive team.
I don't want to play any stereotypes, but perhaps some of them are former hockey players. Because
I have no idea, but I tell
Canada.
you, I'm seeing some serious blocking here.
Oh,
they
yeah.
are building walls, and they are not letting Lane County through. And I don't care how good your jammers are. If a blocker's holding them back,
yeah,
that's it. You're not going to score.
an effective defensive wall can really make or break a bout.
And I'm not seeing as an effective wall.
So I think we're about ready to get started again. We're going to have Grimes and Punishment up for Lane County against Bradass for the Reservoir Dogs.
All right, what we had happening there was number 28, Dev Null, fouled out of the game. That's why we had the swap here. And Quiet Ride is now the new captain because their captain fouled out.
I gotcha.
That's what we had going on there. Nice. We really appreciate the non-skating officials keeping us up with what's going on in Zebraland, because it's not always easy to see what's going on from here. Brad Ass pushing his way through that wall, getting past. I mean, it's just pretty amazing there. He pushed his way past Tim Bucktu and Dr. B.
Switch out with Grimes and Punishment. Grimes and Punishment has been in the boxes, but going to come back out as Bradass goes in. So Bradass is only going to serve as much as he's served, which under 20 seconds.
Here we go.
Scanning just now.
Jammers popping up. But, of course, with both jammers hitting that penalty box. Whoa, a beautiful, beautiful jump, leap in the air, passing that apex in the front. Bradass was not going to even mess with the pack and just jumped right past them. Now he's back through again and definitely just misses that block from Dr. B to pick up 5 points and go back for more.
His agility is amazing. It looks like a bit of his skate is kind of hanging.
Well, he's got fancy footwork, and here he's getting a track cut penalty that's going to send him
he's going to
out.
serve the whole 30 seconds this time, of course.
Yes, indeed. That being his second penalty of the same jam. That's giving Grimes and Punishment a power jam, and he steps a little deftly through the inside. Got some good blocking there from Dr. B.
Well, according to the time, that means that... oops, sorry.
That's okay. Dr. B and Packet Man setting up on the inside gave him an opening. Not so much this time, but they did open a hole for him, and he's pulling through again for another 5 points.
Nice. Looks like we're going to start off with Lane County in a power jam.
Okay. And we immediately got some action there from Lime, who's coaching for the Reservoir Dogs. Not exactly sure what was going on. We have headphones on. We couldn't hear it, but it sounds like something was
True
said.
story.
And we're going to find out. At 5 seconds being called, they are not stopping the action for this.
Better get on
These
the floor.
teams are trying to get on the floor. Now we have a timeout from the Reservoir Dogs. It's not very often that we have a coach popping out there so quickly without taking the time to call the timeout. He was just so frustrated with what was going on. We now have an official review, official timeout, a review being called by the Reservoir Dogs. And as everyone takes to the track, we're going to tell you how much fun we're having here at Mayday Mayhem in lovely Loveland, Colorado. And you know, the venue here is pretty nice.
Yeah, the Mayday Mayhem competitors and spectators, welcome to Loveland, Colorado, and the Ranch Events Complex. The Ranch is Northern Colorado's premier events complex, hosting events of all sizes, from corporate meetings to regional trade shows and premier livestock events. Check out treventscomplex.com for a complete list of upcoming events. I was actually told outside by one of the workers here, they have a horse show down down the way from us, and I'm like so tempted to go see if I can see some horses.
Well, they had so much going on. This is a huge complex.
It is really big. That's we got 2 tracks in this one, and I think we're only in part of this complex, right?
Oh, yeah. We're only in part of this complex. There's another building just as large that is like a 4-H building, and they were having a run today, a run for orphans, and then,
nice.
of course, like you said, the horse show.
Reservoir Dogs have challenged the lack of misconduct call for verbiage used.
It's like we're going to get a little bit of information from the non-skating officials on what this timeout has been called for. What have you got, Rabbit?
Well, they were questioning a lack of misconduct, a lack of gross misconduct that they felt should have been called. And, of course, something like that, that's completely up to the referees.
That is ref discretion. I think, did he say it was the things that the players were saying to the referees?
Yes.
Yeah, that's up to ref discretion, and I got to say...
well, and it's also possible the ref didn't even hear it.
Right.
Because there's a lot going on. Their mind is in the game. Their mind is in going into the next gem.
Right.
That one had just ended. So, I mean, I'm not giving excuses on either side. But we don't hear or see what's going on that densely out at the pack because we had skaters coming on the floor for the next jam, skaters going off the floor from the last jam. I don't know what was said, but it definitely did something for the coach of the Reservoir Dogs because he's having none of that.
Sure.
He's standing rather impatiently off to the side, waiting to see what Team Zebra is going to say about it as the officials are pulling over the skater. It looks like it might have been Dr. B that they're talking to at this point now.
He's probably, is he the captain? But he's been asked to go ahead and go so the officials can just talk amongst themselves and come to a decision.
And, we'll find out what's happening and we'll let you know as soon as we find out. But I tell you, I am having so much fun here. And this is a great time for roller derby because especially in men's derby, it's building up, building momentum. You were at the championships and that I know
I was
had
at
to be
champs
fun.
and World Cup. World Cup, oh my God. I should have written a book about it. It was my absolute favorite event that I've ever been to. Not just because I was like traveling to fancy exotic places or anything like that, but the feeling I got and realizing that men's derby is really coming along strides. And in the future, I mean, like they'll be neck and neck for the popularity of women's derby. It was a beautiful event to be at, and I always enjoy seeing as much types of derby as I possibly can. So this event has been great for me. I'm really excited to I've never actually been to a live junior derby bout, so I'm excited to see that coming up tomorrow too.
Junior derby is also a lot of fun. Of course, that's the future of roller derby.
Yum.
And if you look back at the history of roller derby, early roller derby, you had men's and women's team under the same league.
Right.
And it's like the men would play the first half, the women would play the second half.
Is that right?
And then the next there would be 4 kind of quarters, and they'd alternate men and women.
Oh.
I don't see that ever happening here, but
No.
it is nice to know that they were both involved in the early history of roller derby.
It looks like we're going to get a little more feedback. The non-skating official talking to Ms. Rabbit in the meantime. It looks like we're going to get set up for this next jam. We're going to have Sergeant Pepper for Lane County up against Bradass. Want to tell us what's going on there, Rabbit?
Well, due to the fact that they really couldn't say what was said, what they just did was warn both benches. No other action was taken. But we've got action going on the floor. Sergeant Pepper popping out, even though we had a valiant attempt for Graffiti Petey to hold him at bay. He goes right on past. Now, for some reason, Bradass is just kind of holding back. He really wasn't attacking that wall, but once he did, he gets through and gets to the outside. That's Sergeant Pepper heading to that penalty box with a back block, and that's going to put Bradass in a power jam. He's telling his guys, go ahead, get up front. I got this.
So we're going to have the full 2 minutes. We got about 1:20 left in this one.
And that's going to give Bradass a chance to pop some more points up on the board. Once again, he's telling his blockers, just go ahead and just get in the play there, get out of the way. I'll take on that 4 wall, and Dave 2.0 doing his best to hold him in play, but Bradass gets another 5 points on the board. That 4 wall, anxiously waiting, and look at it, Bradass just kind of stops for a minute and gracefully hands that star off So we now have a pivot jammer. That's Quiet Riot.
what I thought.
He did that before. This is the second time he's been a pivot jammer in this game.
Ironically, just after that star pass, Brad Ass goes to the box. So, good plan.
Excellent timing.
Right?
Past that star. 5 points, or 4 points on the board for Sergeant Pepper as he rejoined the game and kind of slid through the pack while everyone was watching Quiet Riot to see what he's doing. 4 more points for the Reservoir Dogs as Quiet Riot goes through. And that's what we're going to see now for the full jam. These jammers just kind of skating around. It's totally up to the blockers now how many points are going to be made. Another 4 points on the board for the Reservoir Dogs. Brad Ass has taken Sergeant Pepper on head-to-head. He's picked up 3 points. And that was for Lane County. Reservoir Dogs got no score in the last run through that pack. But we are looking at 13 points on the board for the Dogs and 11 picked up for Lane on that.
I think it was 23
That's
for the
right.
Dogs.
13 was from the Pivot Jammer. 10.
Oh.
I'm sorry. From
Split
Brad
up.
Ass before. Those points were split.
It was nicely played no matter how they split it. How's that?
I love the just gentlemanly passing of the star.
Yeah,
There
it
was, here we go. It's yours.
Would you care for this?
Yes, indeed. Oh, well, Flustercluck wasting no time, picking up lead jammer status immediately. Grimes and Punishment sent to that box, and we've got a track cut. And that's been a real problem with Grimes and Punishment tonight. He's not been able to keep those edges clean. Another 5 points on the board there as Flustercluck makes another run. We've got a passive defense in line here. But he changed his mind, told him, come on in, play along with me.
Just in case you're curious what's going on track 2, it is Cornstalkers, and they're up against the Dreadnoughts, and they are very much ahead right now. They've got about 20 minutes left on that one, so if you are not done with Men's Derby after this bout, which has got about 5 minutes left on it, tune in to track 2 too, but don't leave us just yet.
No, we've got 5.5 more minutes
I don't want to
actually of
tempt you.
this.
I'm just saying, you can also enjoy some more Men's Derby for a few minutes right after this.
Yes, indeed. Flustercluck putting another 5 points on the board. Grimes and Punishment pushing through as well. Gets out of the pack. Going to make some points, or at least trying to, but, you know, just kind of off to the side. Flustercluck stood there, waited, and said, no, I'm going to stop this before you get here.
Still got 16 points on that jam for the Dogs, none for Lane County. The score is 57 to 288.
Whew, it's been a very, very high scoring run here for the Reservoir Dogs.
This is my first bout announcing on this track, and this is also my first bout with such a big point spread like this. It's pretty significant.
Well, we are still going through the pool. We're not in the bracket yet.
It's true.
We're going through the pool, and the pool is going to have a mix one way or the other.
Sure. And again, if you want to download that bracket or the pools or the schedule, check us out at Mayday Mayhem on the Facebook page, and you can go ahead and download it as a PDF.
Rice Ball popping ahead of that pack first to pick up lead jammer status for the Dogs as Multiclass in his lovely Ninja Turtle pants making his way around as well, both in the scoring run. Rice Ball picking up his 4 and calling it just before Multiclass got into that scoring position. And we're moving along nicely and looking at about 4 more minutes, just under 4 minutes left in this game. I'm seeing 95 power points picked up.
Wow.
The Dogs got 95 points because Lane County had their star in the box. And that's added quite a bit to the score on this, those 95. Look at that. Brad Ass popped through. I don't even think anybody saw him. There was a wide open spot in the front of that pack. Brad Ass picking up lead jammer status. Facing against Packin' Man, who's taking some serious hits, knocked. And Packin' Man has got a track cut heading to that penalty box. I think we had a nice knock to the outside there. Brad Ass picking up those 5 points. And we've got a 3-wall lining up from Lane County. Grimes and Punishment in the lead of that. Had an apex jump by Bradass. Just, hey, I'm not even going to mess with you. I'm just popping on past everything. And I love it when that happens.
Well, you see, as he approaches the pack, he holds his hands up and he wiggles his fingers a little, and then he goes, go. And his team will go and bust up Lane County's wall and just attack.
Yeah,
it's the go sign.
It's it. It's either that or it's ninja stuff. You never know. You never know.
A little bit of voodoo.
Yeah.
What we got?
Five more points for the Dogs. Pac-Man back into the action, doing his best to go by, and a kind of missed block by Gold Member, letting him get on past. Now we have 5 more, and Jammer v. Jammer. Don't know if Bradass is going to feel like doing much of anything, but Pac-Man looks like he's going to take him off.
He's just going to just call it off again.
Well, you know, the Dogs
I just
are
like
getting...
how smooth he looks the whole time. He's just so relaxed.
I think the shirts have a lot to do with it.
Yeah,
with the
that's
ties
true.
and everything.
Well, I kind of match him today. I gotta say, I got my black tie, I got my white shirt.
There you go. You kind of are.
Not that I'm playing favorites, because I've just now met these dudes.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, it's just odd when you show up to a party and you're wearing the same thing as, like, you know, a team.
A team of people. Yeah, it's like, and you didn't even get the memo.
Right?
We're going into this again with multi-class, donning that star for Lane County. Fluster Cluck once more jamming. He's been busy the entire bout.
Sure
I don't think he's taken much of a break at all. He's already put 121 points on the board during this game. Pulled ahead very quickly and picks up lead jammer status. Multi-class knocked to the inside and recycled back to the back of that pack. Fluster Cluck comes along, zigs, zags, and does a little bit of juking and did a track cut. I think just a little bit. I saw that, just a touch of the wheel going over the edge as he was juking.
All it takes.
Yes, indeed.
That's why they've got the rope there. So hopefully you can feel before your skate's going to go over the line, but you can't always control it.
No, you can't. And if your skate's up in the air because you're towing it down and kind of skipping along, you're going to miss the fact you even hit it. Multi-class in a power jam, starting his scoring run. He's only got 2 blockers to help him through that solid 4 wall of the Reservoir Dogs.
It looks like his blockers are about to join him back. We've got about a minute left, and that's going to run down this entire clock.
Yeah, I think we're going to just watch the rest of this through. Johnny Foster did his best to hold him back, and wow. Okay, that speed on the
really
floor
going for it, yeah.
is Fluster Cluck back in the game and not wasting a moment of it. As currently, we have 1 man just holding back, pulling multi-class out, and that's Quiet Riot, making sure that he couldn't get there. And then we had a G.I. Jones push him out of bounds, so he's recycled as Cluster Fluck just casually goes along, picks up another 4 points for the Dogs.
So you might have time for just one more pass as its seconds come on down from about 2 seconds left. He's going to make it all the way
through. The game clock
through.
has hit the end. It's all up to the jam clock now.
What do we got? 3 points picked up by Lane County. Looks like 4 points picked up by the Glenmore Reservoir Dogs just there. The unofficial final score looks like Lane County 65, Glenmore Reservoir Dogs 323, but we're going to wait for the final score.
And that was the final run. Top scorer for the Reservoir Dogs, Fluster Cluck, put 134 points on the board. And that's just an amazing feat when you think about it at any bout.
Yeah.
I mean, the man is fast, and he did a great job of raking up those points for his team. You know, what can you say about that? The closest high score to that was Bradass. He put 97 points on the board.
Wow.
So between the two of them, I mean, they are a team. And, of course, amazing blockers. I really think the big story here, fast, footwork, good jammers, impressive. But those blockers,
right?
I mean, they won the game by simply not letting Lane County jammers through.
It's true. We often pay more attention to the jammers because they're doing the exciting job when the blockers are really at the heart of the game as well.
Well, the jammers can't do it without them.
It's a reciprocal thing. We're all friends, and we're all on the same team, and it's beautiful. So
we hope you stay tuned to ColoradoSports.TV, and while you're at it, as the next one, who do we have coming up next? As the next one's coming up, we're going to be inviting you to hit that donate now button in the lower right-hand corner. The more you donate to ColoradoSports.TV, the more roller derby they can bring you right here from Colorado. Great job here with the men's team. And we have a break coming up, lunch coming up, and then coming back to